Hey everyone, you may have seen this in your sub feed and thought, this is quite new. This is because this is the first of, maybe it's going to be a series. This is the pilot episode of my review series. It's going to be a review of Raw. Maybe I'll do SummerSlam in a few weeks. If you enjoy this, let me know by hitting a like, and I may do SummerSlam as well. But for now, we'll start off with Raw. I haven't actually watched all of the segments on the show, but I've seen the highlights. I'll give you my thoughts on what's going on with the program, what my favourite feuds are, who I'm looking forward to seeing wrestle, kind of recapping the big angles. So I'm just going to be giving my overall thoughts on what's going on in the show. I'm not going to go too in-depth with it, but I will let you know what I like and what I don't like. Let's start off with this Raw Underground stuff. So it started last week. I'm a fan of the concept in itself. It can break up the monotony of a 3-hour Raw and feature some of the lower card guys like Riddick Moss, who beat Mustafa Ali on main event for some reason. The only reason I saw that is because I'm a massive Ali fan, and what they're doing is terrible with him. I really hope he's not in Retribution, because I feel like that stable's set up to fail, but I'll get onto that later on. And that Babatunde Dabakato, or whatever his name is. Shayna Baszler as well. Someone like her, greatly benefits from having this gimmick to work in. I don't like Shane as the figurehead of this. I get the nostalgia angle they're coming from, but with ratings as low as they are, it couldn't hurt to have like a new guy who, I don't know, you can set up this underground fighting league, and then he's instantly a big name. But having Shane there, I don't know if I like him being a part of it. But he does kind of hype up the action, which I guess it's better than nothing. Also, the camera cuts are horrible, really jarring, very off-putting. I read a stat on Twitter which said there were like 70 jump cuts for just 2 minutes of action, which is just awful to watch. It's nauseating. Not to mention how fake the whole thing looks. It's something like Bloodsport, for example. That makes a worked shoot look somewhat convincing, but because it's got WWE fingerprints on it, it's going to look incredibly fake. For instance, Shayna Baszler very obviously pulling her punches, and obviously you don't want people getting hurt like the Brawl for All. But yeah, like the concept, maybe the execution could be a little bit better, but we'll see as time goes on. And now let's move on to another one of my favourite angles on the show, the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins, caning the living hell at Dominik Mysterio. I love this. I think there's going to be people who's going to complain about Dominik Mysterio getting a push, but to be honest, I don't have a problem with it. I've stopped caring, really, so I can see, Rey Mysterio's kid, and I'm happy for him to get such a big angle on this big stage. He's the same age as me, which is a bit scary, but it is what it is, and just seeing him take that absolute beating, it kind of reminded me of, first of all, you've got Tommy Dreamer in ECW, and then you've got Cody Rhodes getting whipped by MJF with the lashes, and seeing Murphy and Seth Rollins just go to town on Dominik Mysterio. And I think you've seen the picture of Dominik's chest, just the red lashes across it. You make him a star instantly by having him take this absolute beating. He instantly earns respect, especially from me, because that looks absolutely brutal. And it'll be interesting to see how this translates into the ring, how Dominik actually performs as a performer. Plus the guy's pulling in like massive YouTube numbers. If you see any WWE video he's in, it just shoots up to like 10 million instantly, so he's a draw on YouTube at least. How that translates into WWE, we'll see in time. But as I say, I'm a little bit biased because I love Rey Mysterio, I love Rollins, I love Murphy, so that angle gets a thumbs up from me. Another angle that gets a thumbs up from me, Randy Orton. He's great, he's always been great, and the angle with Flair, Randy Orton beats Kevin Owens, and following the match, Ric Flair's, he's talking to him, talking it over with him, and then suddenly Orton with a low blow, just absolutely vicious, and then punting Ric Flair. I did not like how they turned the lights out because of the whole Retribution angle. I hate that is a continuing thread throughout the show, because I don't want to see it, and seeing it involved in every segment is a little bit off-putting, but I understand why they couldn't show Ric Flair getting punted. Obviously he's like 70 years old or whatever it is, but yeah, that's my only nitpick with it. Other than that, I think Randy Orton's track record of being vicious to the people he cares about is showing a much more sadistic side to him. Speaking about SummerSlam and his match against Drew McIntyre, I wouldn't actually mind seeing Orton win the title again with the run he's been on, provided they don't do a Kofi and then push Drew down to the bottom of the card afterwards. Drew McIntyre, by the way, is awesome, but having him chase the title, maybe win it back at WrestleMania in front of a crowd, whether that's likely or not, given how current circumstances are. I don't know. I do feel like Drew should win, though. I'm sad the product sucks while he's champion, because he is great, but I don't want to sit through the entirety of Raw. But it is refreshing to see a champion as dominant as Drew. So it'll be interesting. It's a toss-up. It's 50-50. I don't know who's going to win at SummerSlam, but should be a good matchup. Likewise, Sasha and Asuka, I'm very much looking forward to that. I do like the stuff that's been going on with Sasha and Bayley. A lot of people are complaining about them having all the belts, but I think it does add to the prestige of them, as long as they're constantly defending them, which it seems they are, so that's good. And Asuka, I have been worried since they got rid of Kairi Sane, and the match a few weeks ago did make Asuka look a little bit of a geek to go backstage and get the count out loss, but a decisive win over Bayley here on Raw, that also gets a thumbs up from me. And I can tell you what's getting a big thumbs down, Retribution. I absolutely despise this angle. I hate it. Basically, you have a bunch of guys, they come in, they cause chaos. Why? We don't know why. They're just being a nuisance. And I don't know if this is supposed to be a political thing, or if it's just a ratings grab, or what it is, but I don't like it. I don't like the execution of it at all. We'll have to wait and see how it goes, but they can't be that intimidating if the announcers already know who they are. You know, they look like a bunch of rowdy teens, especially tonight. The security guard saying, "Go home!" And then I don't know who it is. It could be Dijakovic, I really hope not. But he's going, "You go home!" And then they smash the window, they tip a car. For what? Why? What are they doing? They're just causing chaos for what reason? They're not really accomplishing anything at the moment. And I'm not the kind of person to rag on a wrestler's hype, but they just don't have the threatening aura about them like the Nexus did, for example. You know, they cut the ring ropes, push the security guard, they got their naff graffiti with the squiggly lines, and I'm supposed to care, I don't know. Rollins said something recently about fans not having the patience for angles, but WWE has consistently lost the audience's trust. That is why they don't trust them to follow through on angles such as this, and especially when it starts off in such a naff way. They just don't have faith that the company will follow through on a hot angle. You know, they did it with the Nexus, the Fiend, Kofi's run, but I am not digging this Retribution angle at all. So in conclusion, I would say if you condense the best bits of WWE every week, considering I don't watch it anymore, if you just had 1 2-hour show featuring the best bits from Raw, SmackDown and NXT, no doubt I'd watch it because it would be a great program, but stretched over 3 hours, you got a lot of filler. You got Raw Underground, which in itself, a decent concept. Don't like the way it's being executed. I hate Retribution. I'm liking that they're pushing Apollo Crews. That's definitely a highlight of the show. And also, depending on SummerSlam's location, it could be a fun show. But let me know if you would be interested in me reviewing that, because I enjoyed this quick little rant-style vid. What do you think of Raw? Or even WWE as a whole right now? I'll try and respond to every comment I get. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed this. Do let me know in the comments if you think I should continue reviewing shows, or if this is just a one-off experiment. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys later.